Sibling relationships are among the most influential bond in a person's life, shaping personalities, fostering emotional growth, and building lifelong connections. However, sibling rivalry is a reality for many families, and if not addressed, can strain relationships and disturb harmony at home. Finding ways to encourage mutual respect, cooperation, and understanding is key to nurture positive sibling dynamics. Today, we are delighted to have with us Ms. Geetika Ahuja, Principal of Aspire Indian International School, Kuwait, a distinguished leader in the education sector. Ms. Ahuja has extensive experience in fostering healthy interpersonal relationships among children and promoting a positive, supportive learning environment. Her insights on managing sibling rivalry will provide valuable strategies for encouraging harmony between siblings, both at home and within the broader school community. Welcome, ma'am, to Parenting Summit 2024. It's a pleasure to have you on this show.
Thank you, Mr. Shaju, for welcoming me to this panel. Yeah.
Great, ma'am. So we will start with the questions. So, in your experience, ma'am, what are the most common causes of sibling rivalry during the teenage years, and how does it manifest differently in teens compared to a younger children?
I would now like to go back from parenting to
Mhm.
parenting. It's a guerrilla
Parenting.
warfare,
Uh-huh.
continuous and consistently happening in our lives. And, as a child, I had always heard that so a thought, it will turn into an action. An action turns into a habit, and habit forms your character. So, this is what, as parents, we need to do. We need to sow in the thoughts, the right thoughts,
Mhm.
right from the beginning. Let's go back to nature. Uh, we have always, as we have always compared children to the plants. The kind of environment the child gets, that kind of fruit you will see developing in the child. Now, parents have to be very keen observers right from the very beginning, as well as keep in mind that children are also observing you at the same time. It's not just happening. Every action you take, every line you speak as a parent gets embedded in the minds and hearts of the children. And because they are children, it is permanently embedded because their mind is fresh, their heart is fresh. So they are also observing you doing certain things. Now, we'll go back to the real topic and try to connect what I just said. In the family, how you respond to your sibling as a parent, the child is observing. And many a times we see misunderstandings happening in the brothers or the sisters due to miscommunication. So, the first problem that happens is miscommunication when we do not communicate the things properly to our children. And we do not allow the children also to communicate to us properly. It's a two-way road. There are conflicting expectations. Parents, obviously, if you're talking of siblings, we are talking about more than two children, two or more than two children. So definitely, the expectations are very conflicting. And because of that, the power struggle happens at home. Children tend to believe that my parent loves the other sibling more than they love me. This is the first and foremost thing which starts, developing or surfaces. And we start seeing those signs, early signs of outbursts, tantrums, shoutings, fighting with each other, hurting each other's emotions. These are the first few red flags that we see. Then we also see when parents start comparing the children with each other, and then they tend to take out that they kind of develop revengeful attitude. Okay, Today you got all the praises from daddy. Tomorrow I will give it back to you in some way. Then there are, there are kind of external stressors also. There are
Mm-hmm.
peers who put stress on the children. Oh, why is your sister always hanging around you? And then they do
Mm-hmm.
not tend to like their sister or their brother always accompanying them. Why do you always, go around and help your sister or brother? And then they feel, why am I always told or given responsibilities by my parents for my younger sibling? So these are the kinds of issues which happen. And then these children, they kind of, these get layered into the minds and
Mm-hmm.
heart, which they
Right.
carry as baggages. Every day
Mm-hmm.
they carry it as baggages. They do not vent out every time, but yes,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a baggage, and then at some point it is like an outburst, or it erupts like a volcano. And
Mm-hmm.
we at every day, the parents also, because I can understand the challenging corporate environment these days, where parents also get very less time to spend with the children. There are a lot of met emotions which we do not get time to resolve between the siblings on everyday basis, which kinds of develop friction on everyday basis, and then
Right.
certainly they drift apart after a few
Correct. So this
days.
this
Yeah,
actually,
or
yeah, this leads to the next question, which is related to this. That, at what point does sibling rivalry becomes a concern, and how can, parents recognize when they need to intervene?
like I just shared with you, you will start seeing red flags. You will see
Hmm.
outbursts. You will see, emotional outbursts where you will see one sibling hitting each other,
Hmm.
fighting with each other. You'll see them, calling them bad names. You will see them hitting.
Hmm.
Maybe when they'll see the parent is not around, they will try to bully the younger one, or the younger one will try to spoil things of the older one.
Hmm. Hmm.
So these are
Hmm.
the first few signs, and then you will later see, oh, they are withdrawing from each other. During teenage, yes, we often see the children start demanding for a separate room. I don't want to be with my sister anymore.
Hmm.
I want a separate room for myself. I don't want to talk to her the whole day. I want, my friends are coming. I don't want her to enter my room when my
Hmm.
friends are here. Don't tell him to come towards, my friends when my friends are here. I don't want him to be here. So these
Right.
are the things, these are the first few signs, and that is the
Hmm.
time when we must start intervening in a very, we'll have to plan it. We'll have to
Correct.
plan it very strategically, that we do not hurt the emotion of either of them. Yeah.
Hmm. So how can, parents and teens, both of them together, you know, collaborate and work towards resolving these conflicts while ensuring, each sibling feels valued and respected.
First and foremost, it's very important. Like I said, when you start seeing the red flag,
Hmm.
you should take out time. It
Hmm.
can be one-on-one time, or it can be like a family discussion time. Maybe you can form some family rituals. Every Friday, we sit for 30
Hmm.
minutes, or we sit for 40 minutes, or we sit over the meal, or we go out for a walk. Can come
Hmm.
together, and then you can discuss about those issues. Very important to, parents will observe that the children will most of the times complain about, not about the attitude or the behavior of the sibling, but most of the times, through my experience, they often react how the parent has dealt with it. The
Okay.
parent has, yeah, if the parent has supported one sibling and not the other one, they will have that kind of jealousy. They will have that kind of, they will have that kind of attitude that no, nobody ever supports me. They are looking
Hmm.
for that support, that why am I not being supported? It also
Hmm.
happens that we do have to, as parents, sometimes one child needs more support than the other. But
Mm-hmm.
it's important for us as parents to sit down with the other and explain the rationale to them. That's why I started my whole thing with communication. Communication is very important. And
Right.
as parents, sometimes we also see a few teenagers specifically. I will share it with you today. It's like I have met a few teenagers who have often complained that, oh, my mama behaves like my friends. She's not my
Mm-hmm.
friend, she's my mama. So at times we as parents forget that boundary. That boundary is blurred. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to create, okay, we can be friendly, but there's always a boundary, and we have to tell them as children, they also need to respect that boundary. We can always
Right.
talk to each other, understand each other. Yeah.
Correct. So this is a very important
So
point,
that
and
is very
I'll tell you today, almost all discussions we had, this point was highlighted by almost everyone that, with teenagers, you can be friendly,
Mhm.
but you're not friend. You
Yes.
have to have that
We're not friends.
boundary,
Yes.
and yes, that's something which is, we as a parent at times not able to understand, and then we expect that I'm like your friend, which is not the
Hmm.
case. You can
We
be
can
friendly,
be
yes,
like a
you in
friend,
your
but we are not
yeah,
friends. Yeah.
right,
At
right,
the
right.
same time, guidance is very important, because if we are friends, we'll
Mm,
not be able to provide the guidance which is very valuable for them.
correct, correct. And one of the speaker, did mention that, in this relationship, a parent and a teenager, parent is the adult one, and they have to behave, they have to be seen as a role model, right?
Correct.
But they can be
Absolutely.
friendly, but there has to be boundaries, and there has to be. So these are important things for us parents, because see, we all are so busy in our life or with our office and our work, that we are all guilty. So we just try to compensate by being, you know, trying to be their friend over the weekend, and then which is not the thing, right? So this, you know,
Right. Absolutely. And that's why, yeah. Yes.
yes, ma'am. So if you talk about so, what's the role of school in terms of teaching conflict resolution skills that can help manage sibling rivalry at home, or in general that conflict resolution. So do you have any kind of programs which you do at your school?
Yes, I would like to share this with you, and I'm really thankful to the new education policy, which gave us the scope to
Hmm.
include socio-emotional well-being in the school program. And one
Right.
of the activities I did with the children is, uh, let's do role play sessions
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
what if questions. So during that time, they become neutral. They play the role of a neutral person, and when we are neutral, we tend to analyze the situation from outside, and when we are outside the
Correct.
situation, we are more realistic, and we are more, our reasoning is more appropriate. So we gave
Hmm.
scenarios to the children wherein one can act as a parent and the other can act as a sibling complaining to the parent. The
Hmm.
questions were based on jealousy, like, what if a child comes and tells you that you always love the younger one more than me? So those
Hmm.
kinds of situation. Then where what if the siblings are always engaged in a fight over toys?
Hmm.
Now the objects have changed. Earlier it was like TV remote. Now it's like
Hmm.
PlayStation remote. So objects
Right.
may have changed, but
Hmm.
situations are the same. So there are
Correct.
situations like, what if, why only I have to take care? Why only I
Hmm.
have to help mama in doing this? Why
Hmm.
isn't she doing? So
Hmm.
when the children do these role plays, they try to put forward the reason.
Hmm.
Maybe at that time they are doing just role play, but they definitely go back and
I'm
analyze,
sure.
oh, this is the solution I
Hmm.
offered. So why can't I apply this to my own life?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you talk about what are some of the practical strategies that parents can use to reduce, rivalry and encourage collaboration between siblings?
See, like I shared in the beginning, when we talk of do's, we also must talk about don'ts. So, the first
Hmm.
and foremost thing is form a family ritual where you can openly communicate with each other and in
Hmm.
a respectful way. We can always put forward our complaint in a way like instead of starting it like a fight, we have to see every step has to be consciously taken. We have to tell our children that you'll have to put it in a better way, like
Hmm.
I feel hurt when you do this. Instead of
Hmm.
starting the whole thing with a fight, they can tell their sibling that bhaiya or didi, I feel hurt when you tell me to go away when your friends are here. I would
Hmm.
appreciate if you can tell me before. I know this
Right.
all seems very formal from the surface, but yes, it has to be, children have to be trained for it. You can tell them, I really feel hurt, so I'll be happy if you can tell me in advance that your friends are coming, and for today you don't want me to be there. So
Hmm.
instead of starting everything with the fight, try to put forward as a problem, or uh, even the older sibling can say, oh, I can understand why you feel left out, but we
Hmm.
can spend time the other days
Later on, yes, yes. So
later on.
there's a very important
Yeah.
point which also mentioned earlier, that having an open communication resolves a lot of
Yeah.
issues or concerns which we may have. It also gives the other person the perspective from where the other person is coming. It could be
Absolutely. And one important thing, Mr. Shaju, parents must not judge and compare their children, especially in front of others. That's
Hmm.
the most hurting thing for any child. These are the two things,
Hmm.
when the
Right.
first one we discussed, most commonly, the children put forward to us, we have a mentor-mentee program in which the
Hmm.
children openly come and discuss these issues with us. So this was the first one I already shared with you, and this is the
Hmm.
second one. They feel most hurt when the parents compare, and the power struggle is there between the two siblings. That who's going to be the better one in the family.
Correct, correct, correct. That's great, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom and expertise on this vital topic. Your guidance on, fostering understanding and nurturing harmony among siblings has been incredibly, enlightening. It's evident that, with the right approach, sibling relationship can become a source of strength, joy, and support for family. To all our audience, let's take this insights to heart and remember that addressing sibling rivalry is not about eliminating differences, but about, teaching our children to respect and celebrate them. When families create an environment of empathy and collaboration, sibling bond can flourish into lifelong relationships. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to bringing more enriching discussions. Until then, let's continue to build, bridges of understanding and harmony within our homes. Thank you, ma'am, once again for taking out
Thank you,
time
Mr.
and
Shaju.
sharing your insights.
Would like to close with a line here, Mr. Shaju. There's a
Sure,
very
sure.
valuable lesson that you gave just now,
Mhm.
that family can be great strength, which I myself have witnessed during difficult times in my family. And I can
Mhm.
never forget, there were various stories, short stories on Doordarshan, which used to be featured every now and then, which gave us valuable lessons. And if you remember the
Mhm.
story of four brothers who could break the sticks, and the lesson was unity is strength. So if
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
together, the family, after all, family is family, and family must stay together.
Stay together. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Looking forward to having an interaction very soon.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. Shaju.